In the dim light at the end of the studio, Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe stepped out after a long, tiring day. They thought everything was just the echo of cameras, but from afar, cold eyes were watching their every move, every breath. The stalkers were not ordinary fans, nor were they familiar paparazzi. They moved silently, always keeping a distance enough to not be detected but never taking their eyes off. At first, Sam thought it was just an illusion of prolonged tension, but when they kept catching sight of people lurking in alleys or black cars parked on the side of the road, it became clear. Someone was deliberately following them. "Kate, did you see them?" Sam lowered his voice, his eyes darting around. "Yeah, they didn't take pictures, didn't say anything. They just looked," Caitriona whispered, her eyes flashing with unease. That night, as they left the parking lot, the mysterious black car followed. Its yellow headlights seemed to drown out the road. Sam accelerated, turned sharply, tried everything to escape, but the other car stubbornly pursued. In the rearview mirror, a strange face flashed by, cold, expressionless. Little did Sam and Caitriona know, these men had a plan. They weren't looking for a sensational image, but for something from the two of them. A secret that had never been revealed, or even evidence that would throw their lives into chaos. The night was getting darker, and the narrow street seemed to be filled with only the sound of pounding hearts. Sam gripped the steering wheel, and drove down a side street, hoping to escape the haunting darkness. But then, as their car stopped to catch its breath, a figure appeared right at the window, tapping slowly. "We only want one thing," a deep voice said. Caitriona held her breath. Sam gripped the wheel tightly, his eyes blazing with alertness. What was it they wanted? A buried secret, or a truth that could shatter everything? The answer hung in the darkness, leaving Sam and Caitriona, and those who watched them, in a state of unresolved terror. The soft knock on the car window echoed like a drumbeat, straight to his heart. Sam turned his head, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Caitriona sat close to her seat, her breathing ragged. Outside, the figure in the dark coat still stood still, his face half hidden by a hood, revealing only his strangely bright eyes. "We don't want to hurt you," the deep voice repeated. "But if you don't cooperate, things will get difficult." Sam lowered the window a few centimeters, just enough to hear clearly but still keep a defensive distance. "Who are you?" he growled. "Someone who knows the truth," the other replied. "The truth the world doesn't see." Caitriona shivered slightly. She leaned toward Sam, whispering, "What do they want? News? Secrets from the film crew? Or?" Sam shook his head. He felt his blood boil, his protective instincts kicking in. The stalker didn't say anything more, just stuffed a thin envelope into the glass slot and stepped back, disappearing into the darkness with the black car behind. Everything happened so fast that Sam couldn't react. He quickly opened the envelope. Inside was just a short piece of paper with a handwritten message. "Don't let anyone find out. We'll meet again." The days that followed became a nightmare. Wherever Sam and Caitriona went, they felt invisible eyes following them. At coffee shops, in parking lots, even when they stepped off the set. The familiar clicks of cameras were gone. Instead, there was a cold silence, as if the stalker wanted them to know they were being followed, but gave them no way to fight back. Caitriona began to have trouble sleeping. She would wake up in the middle of the night, even hearing strange noises outside her window. Sam, despite his efforts to be strong, felt the pressure weighing down on him. He began to write down suspicious license plates, memorize faces that flashed through crowds. It was all for naught. Every time he thought he had a clue, the person would vanish as if they had never existed. Late one night, they decided to confront him. Instead of hiding, Sam drove to a secluded area, hoping the stalker would reveal himself. And as expected, the black car appeared again, following a few dozen meters away. Sam stopped in the middle of the deserted road, turned off the lights, and got out of the car. Caitriona worriedly held his hand. "Are you sure? What if they're dangerous?" We can't live in fear forever. I'll put an end to this. The black car slowly stopped, the door opened. 3 figures stepped out, their postures calm, their eyes unhurried. The leader was the one who had knocked on the window the day before. "We're not looking for fame," he said, his voice eerily calm. "We need cooperation. You two are holding an important piece of the puzzle." Sam frowned. "What piece? We're just actors." "No." He shook his head. "You two saw it. On set. Something no one should know. And now, someone wants that truth buried." Caitriona trembled slightly. A flashback flashed through her mind. That night, they'd overheard a heated argument in the director's office, talking about a secret project and huge sums of money. She'd thought she'd let it slide, but apparently, someone knew they'd heard. "You want us to keep quiet?" Caitriona asked. "On the contrary," the stranger replied, taking a step forward. "We want you to help expose it." Sam and Caitriona looked at each other, both stunned. The stalkers weren't enemies, or at least, that's what they claimed. But if what they said was true, then behind the scenes there was more than just flashy lights, there was a vast web of intrigue. In the days that followed, Sam and Caitriona were on edge. A second envelope had been left in their mailbox, filled with secret documents, shady contracts, names of powerful people, and evidence of an illegal scheme. "What should we do?" Caitriona whispered, her hands shaking as she flipped through the pages. "If it's true, our careers and our safety are in danger," Sam replied, his eyes glued to the bold text. "Destroy all witnesses." At that moment, a strange light flashed outside the window. Sam rushed out, but only just in time to see the figure disappear into the night. An unspoken warning. They were being watched, not just by the other group, but also by the force the other group wanted to fight. Life became a chessboard. Sam and Caitriona are caught between opposing forces. One wants them to help expose the truth. The other is willing to wipe out anyone who knows the truth. One night, as they are returning home, a near collision occurs. A truck comes rushing around a dark corner, its headlights blazing. Sam swerves in time, and the truck flips over onto the side of the road. They are lucky to escape, but there is no doubt, it was no accident. Caitriona sits down on the ground, her eyes shining with fear. "Sam, they won't stop." "I know," Sam gasps. "But we won't back down either." Their eyes meet, lighting a fire of determination. One evening, Sam received an anonymous message. "Tomorrow night. Abandoned warehouse west. We'll show you everything." They had no choice. Despite the risk, this was their only chance to learn the truth. In the cold darkness of the warehouse, the stalkers reappeared, carrying an old laptop. The screen lit up, displaying a series of audio recordings, images, and top-secret documents. "This is proof," the stranger said. "And only you two can make the world believe it." Caitriona looked at Sam, her eyes wavering between fear and a thirst for justice. Sam nodded slightly, but before she could say more, a loud noise sounded outside. The warehouse door swung open. A group of men, dressed in black suits, entered. "You've gone too far," one of the men said, his voice full of authority. "The game is over." The pursuers backed away, but Sam and Caitriona were caught in the middle. The pounding of heels, the clanking of metal. Time seemed to stand still. In that moment, Sam squeezed Caitriona's hand. He whispered softly, "No matter what, we have to keep the truth." And that fateful door slammed shut, opening a new chapter they never imagined. The only question left: will they have the strength to survive and bring this secret to light, or will they become names that disappear into the darkness?